Hey, hey, hey. What's up, yo? It's Noki coming at you with another comic haul. It's Monday morning. I thought I would do another video. I bagged some more comics last evening while watching football. Um, First, as always, I want to start off by thanking everyone who has taken their time to watch my videos and post a comment. I appreciate it. And also to issue the precautionary statement that this video is not aimed towards children. I really don't think that statement is necessary anymore, but I think I'll keep doing it for now. Um, so anyway, I thought I'd start off with something a little different. I don't buy a lot of CGC books. Usually, if I do, I'm only buying them if they're kind of pricey books in the wild, and I want to make sure that I get a comic in the condition that I'm paying for. So I will buy a CGC graded book. Usually I don't grade my books. I've only gotten 2 books graded in my time collecting, and it was mainly to authenticate Stan Lee's signature that I received at a convention. And so CGC was there, and I had them authenticated while they were getting signed. But otherwise, I don't really go after CGC books. So what you have here in front of you, is an iconic cover by Sal Buscema. It's late Silver Age, February 1969. Silver Surfer number 4. I think, nothing really goes on in the book itself, but the cover is an awesome cover. Thor, use of colors, Thor on the Rainbow Bridge, Silver Surfer coming down. I bought this because it was sold by a comic shop on eBay. And the advertisement was they believed that it was undergraded, that it was misgraded, and that it was much higher than an 8.0. Now, I had this comic as a kid that I, likely just because of the age and year that I would have had it, was purchased from a flea market or a yard sale, and it was beat up. I looked for it and I could never find it. I may have even traded it off at some point, but I wanted it back, and I kind of missed the boat in the early 80s and early 90s when comics were still cheap of replacing it, and so here we are, 30 years later, 40 years later, I'm buying books for hundreds of dollars. But I bought this book about 5 years ago, and when I bought it, it was on a Father's Day when eBay gives the rebate of 10% up to $100. So, when I looked at it, they had lots of, close-up pictures of this book, and I tended to agree that this book appeared to be undergraded. I mean, the only flaw I could see is those 2 ticks there at the top of the cover. But otherwise, for a square-bound book, the corners are sharp. There's no visible creases in the book. The back is white. I'm sure the pages are off-white just because of the age. But that's a gorgeous, gorgeous book, and I think it is undergraded at 8.0. I think it would be easily an 8.5, if not higher, 9. That is a near mint book all day long. Actually, they listed white pages, so not even off-white. So I can't imagine that book isn't a higher grade than an 8. But it doesn't matter because it's for my personal collection, but I do believe that it is undergraded, and that's why I bought it. So I paid a little bit over $900 for that book. And it was a buy it now. Then I got the rebate from eBay, and so it ended up being about $900, a little bit over $900 with shipping. I think shipping was $30. So, but I show this book because of a book I'm going to show here in a little bit. But I also wanted to show something else. So after I bought that book, with all the homage covers that were coming out, I started looking for homage to this cover because there are a few. And I came across Arthur Adams' website, And on that website, he had prints for sale of some original artwork, and they were limited edition, numbered. And he had done a homage to that book, Silver Surfer #4. This is a print that's numbered, and it's not exactly the same pose, but pretty close. Rainbow Bridge, Thor, Silver Surfer coming down on him, Midgard in the background. Kind of the same logo, Skyrider of the Spaceways. I mean, just an awesome cover. And he did this book in 2015, right? So when I bought this here, it was on sale because there was only a few left, and it came with a free signature if you bought it, and free postage. So usually the postage is usually the signature was $20 and the postage was whatever it was. And Arthur threw in his signature for free. It's usually $20. And so I thought I'd buy it, really, because I had just gotten this comic and thought, wow, that'd be cool to put together in like a shadow box or something. Now, you had the option of buying it in color or in black and white. I just think the black and white would look great with this. Buy it in color. And then also, if I wanted to make copies of it and print it and color it myself, that would be kind of cool too, I thought. But the black and white was what I picked. I think it was $100. And so I thought I'd show this book because of the next book that I'm about to show you. So I went to a quarter sale and I found this book here, which I knew nothing about. Thor Goes to Hollywood. Thor Goes Hollywood. This was a one-shot. Didn't know what it was. It looked to be in high grade. It's Chris Hemsworth on the cover. This is when the first movie Thor came out. As I was rebagging it, I thumbed through it and I found that it's really just an index book. So it's not really worth a lot as is. And particularly because it's not in there, man, I noticed that there's this here is just like a color misprint. The color just isn't there. I don't know how that happened, but it's not a blemish. I don't know. It looks like he's got a zit on his nose, to be honest. But anyway, inside, and I knew nothing about any of these covers. It's an index of all the homage covers that came out that month for the movie. That was homaging famous Hollywood movies. Now, they were either reproduction homages to the movie posters, or it was an artist's take on the movie itself. And so this is Amazing Spider-Man 658, homaging the movie Alien and Aliens, with, again, the Thor theme. Jane Foster, Lady Sif, I guess, front and center. Now, these comics came out 1:15 ratio, and I've never seen any of these in a while. And some of them are pretty cool. This is Avengers Academy number 13 by Amanda Conner. I'm embarrassed to say that I did not know what that was homaging until I looked at the side, and it's The Breakfast Club, which I love that movie too. When it came out, I was a teenager, and I remember watching that movie in the theater. Great movie. When John Hughes was killing it on movies with Pretty in Pink and, Home Alone, just iconic, just making hit after hit. But, usually I don't really, care too much for Amanda Conner. I mean, I like her artwork, but it's not an artist that I would go after the cover. But I think I'm going to try to find that cover. I really like that cover. Silence of the Lambs, Captain America 617, Forrest Gump, Black Panther, Man Without Fear 517 by John Tyler. This one I really like too. This is Greg Horn, FF number 2, homage to The Matrix, Thor's bending over backwards, avoiding arrows, kind of like the famous, avoiding the bullets. This is Inception, Generation Hope #7 by Gabriel Hardman. Titanic, right? Incredible Hulk 627. That's kind of a creepy cover from The Shining. Invincible Iron Man 503. Social Network. I didn't see that movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Journey into Mystery 622. Secret Avengers #12. I didn't know this movie at all, but it's a homage to Modern Times by Charlie Chaplin from 1936. Frankenstein, Uncanny X-Force, #7. That's kind of a cool cover by Humberto Ramos. Uncanny X-Men 535, The Usual Suspects. Rocky by Dale Keown. Wolverine #8. Wolverine, The Best There Is. Terminator movie homage. This is the part where Terminator's on the motorcycle is what the movie poster is, and then Thor is kind of added to it. This is kind of a cool cover. This is another cover that's kind of a dual homage, where it's homage to Hulk King Size Special by Jim Steranko, and but because she has a gorilla hand on there, it's supposed to be a homage to King Kong, which I thought was cool. I would definitely buy that cover. And I like this one by John Tyler, Christopher, homage to Saturday Night Live, which is a cool cover, X-Men #10. And then X-Men Legacy 247, which is homage to Planet of the Apes. So I thought that was kind of cool. I've never seen any of those covers in the wild, and when I looked on eBay before this video, there's not a lot of listings for them. I don't know if I'm not searching it correctly, but they're not expensive books either. So I'm going to try to find them in a while. Kind of going online with the movie homages. This I bought for cover price, and that was $0.25. And this was cover price homage to Empire Strikes Back movie scene, Star Wars Greatest Movies variants from the Canon series. This is, I Know, where, Han Solo is about to get carbonated by Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back, my favorite movie of the Canon 9, where, he goes, Princess Leia goes, I love you, and he says, I know, which has been made into many miscellaneous movie trinkets. Pretty cool. Everything from hand towels, dish towels, bookends, I love you, I know, it's kind of cool. So I like that. I thought I'd buy that. I have a couple of the movie homage covers, but that's kind of a cool cover. And this I bought for $0.25 for nostalgia purposes. Batman and Robin. It's a square-bound prestige format book. I bought mainly because this, for nostalgia, and this movie sucked. I mean, this movie was responsible for ending the Batman franchise, and it wasn't until Chris Nolan brought the Batman Dark Knight Rises back that this movie itself ended the franchise. George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell. I mean, this movie sucked. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze and Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. I mean, even the one before that with Val Kilmer wasn't that good either. With Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. I think Jim Carrey saved the movie, but overall it was a terrible movie. The first one with Jack Nicholson and Mike Keaton I saw in the movie theater. I remember waiting in line when it came out. The promotion was great. Everywhere there was just the Batman emblem being advertised. That's all it said, the emblem. No words, nothing. And then the movie came out, and, if you watch the movie now, and it's a little cheesy, but, it's good for the era, right? An early 80s movie. And, it made buku's money, and, not just in the box office, but in, toys and paraphernalia, movie promotions, etc. Made tons of money. And then Batman Returns wasn't bad with Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, but then it just went downhill from there. I think really what happened is because the first two made significant money, they try to put bigger stars in it, and when you have bigger name stars, they all want screen time, and then the story becomes kind of crazy, and it just doesn't make for a good film. But anyway, I bought that full quarter. I got this full quarter. I haven't bagged it yet. As I've said in other videos, I've been trying to collect these Marvel 25th Anniversary Border books, and this is Marvel Age number 44. The difference of this book, it's got Starbrand on the front, and that new universe failed miserably. Is that the back, when you turn this over, is the back side of the characters, which I thought was kind of cool. I never knew that, actually. And so when I found that book for a quarter and I was bagging it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I looked back on the other ones to see if that was the case, and it was not. So this was, and even their signature is reversed. So Paul Kupperberg and Joe Sinnott is kind of cool. The Starbrand is backwards. A really kind of cool book. I guess these are just in the stack, a bag for whatever reason. X-Men number 1, art germ variant, nice cover of Marvel Girl. I like that book. Doesn't go for much. I paid cover price for that. I'm really, liking some of Mark Brooks's work. I think he's been, he does some great covers, and I really like this cover. I bought it for the cover. I don't really collect Captain Marvel. That's Captain Marvel number 11. Got 2 copies of that because I really like the cover. Bought 2 copies of X-Men number 1 variant cover with Mark Brooks. Another couple of books I bought at cover price. What's in this stack? Jenny Frison number 1, retailer incentive. Something is killing the children. It's kind of a. I really like that cover too. Bought that because of the cover only. Don't know anything about the book, and that's the only one I bought. This is cover B of section 0. Is this number 1? No, it's not. It's issue 6. I don't collect the series. I bought it only for the cover. Adam Hughes cover. The next few books I'm going to show you are quarter books. About this, Teen Titans number 11. Part 1 of the Lazarus contract. There was 4 parts that spanned from Titans, Teen Titans, Deathstroke, and then Teen Titans. When this book initially came out, it sold out. They have a couple of printings, I think, of it. And when it first came out, this book was immediately sold out, and then it was going for $10, as high as $15. Now it's cover price book, and I have a couple of copies of this, and I bought this because it was in high grade and it was a quarter. This I got for quarter. This is The Outsiders number 21. I bought this because this is the first appearance of Lady Clayface. It's also the first appearance of some other villain characters in this Cobra Strike Force team that is the antagonist for the Outsiders. And I can't even remember all their names just because they're terrible. They are terrible. Lady Clayface ain't bad, right? Not very original. But, when Mike Barr was doing this comic with the late Jim Aparo, her name, who's a heroine, part of the Outsiders, I don't really know. I haven't read this book, but it looks like she may got possessed, but her name is the Looker. That's a terrible name. You got Batman, Geoforce, Black Lightning, Katana, Metamorpho. Halo's not bad. I don't even remember what her name is. But the Looker is just, could they have come up with a better name than the Looker? It's, just ridiculous. But Lady Clayface first appearance isn't here. And then I remember the character that's in here that was like, oh my gosh, it's stupid. Is Zebra Man. I mean, come. I don't even know. Come on, Max. My son's here from school, which is why I'm here.
You got them sick.
Because he's allegedly kind of sick. And so my wife had pity and said he could stay home from school. I tried to make him go to school, but I got overruled. So, but anyway, that's just. I mean, Zebra Man. Come on. I mean, you know, sometimes when they think of names for characters, I was just like, you know,
Bye-bye, everyone.
what was the writer and creator thinking of, and then what was the editor thinking of? I mean, come on, Zebra Man, give me a break, you know. So, but anyway, I got that because Lady Clayface first appearance. It's not worth anything, but you know, but for $1 and it was in high grade, I bought it. I actually think I have a copy of it already. Impulse #1, high grade copy. You know, that was $1, and I think it's worth that and all of that and then some. Anytime I find this in high grade, fairly cheap, I'm going to buy it. You know, definitely for $1, definitely for $1. If it's in real high grade, I think I would pay. I think I would pay $5 for it in high grade. High grade. It's not the first appearance of Impulse, as we know. It's in Flash '92, Volume 2, but it's a nice book to have, I think, in your collection. I've got several copies of this. I bought this because it was in high grade and it was $1. Death Star #1. This was from the early '80s. Jim Starlin is a great artist, and he's done some iconic comics and created some iconic characters, the least of which is not Thanos. Thanos is an incredible character, Warlock, and you know, just many more. But Death Star is a great storyline. The art is, you know, clean, and I remember when this came out in the early '80s, and I liked his artwork. You know, I liked it from when he did the Avengers and Iron Man, but the artwork was very defined, I guess you could say, and the story was really good. But it, you know, do I want to say it's a spec book for me? Maybe it's a spec book, but #1 for $1. I wasn't going to leave it there in near mint. Green Lantern #57. I bought it just because it's a bondage cover. Thor #13 I got because it was a near mint, and at the time when this book came out, I was in college and I was not buying as many comics, so there was a good chance I didn't have that annual. So I picked up for $1. New Warriors #28, first appearance of the new Torpedo. Green Arrow #49, when they were doing the Neil Adams variant covers where he's homaging himself, and so this is Neil Adams and Jim Lee. I didn't think I had the cover. I bought a lot of the Neil Adams homage covers that year, and I'm pretty sure I didn't have that homage to his Green Lantern, Green Arrow series. I think #77. This must just be in the stack. This is Monstrous #24. I paid cover price for that. Brightest Day #17. A very nice Dave Finch cover for $1. Because it's all white, it's easy to not be found in the wild in their mint. But for $1, I wasn't going to leave that in their mint. And I had that cover already. And then I had this. This is the 1 in 10 variant for #17 by Ivan Reis. Yeah, Ivan Reis. Nice cover. And then usually I pick these up, these Star Comics, if I find issue #1 and probably the last issue. Planetary #1, and then Air Raiders #1. That was a cartoon as well as a toy line. So I'll pick those up if they're near mint and they're cheap. Let's see, we're at 25 minutes. So I'm going to show these last 3 books. For now, Catwoman chapter 2. This team up of creators Jeb Loeb and Tim Sale, or Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Catwoman When in Rome, a Catwoman murder mystery. When those two have combined, they've done some really iconic series. They've done Batman Long Halloween, Batman Dark Victory, both of which I have their entire series. They did a Superman one, which I can't remember what the name is. I don't have all of that. And I would have collected this series when it came out, but I don't know how I missed it. So I know I have issue #1. I didn't remember which issues subsequent to that I have, and I may have more than one issue. I think I have this already. But this was chapter 2 in near mint, and for a quarter I wasn't going to leave it there. Because of the material that this comic is printed, the cover is printed in, it's a little hard to find in near mint. It's not kind of a glossy cover. The cover is kind of like a matte, and so it's real easy to get like scratches on it and, you know, spine dings in it because of the type of paper it's printed on. And so I will come across these, but they will not be in near mint, so I won't buy them. But this was in near mint chapter 2. Chapter 3, really hard to find because it's an all white cover in near mint with the black. Again, based on the type of paper that the comic is printed on. That was in near mint for cover. And then chapter 4, again with this color, easy to get spine ticks. But for near mint and a quarter, I'd pay easily up to $2 for that book. The series individually, the comics do not go for much, but if you look online, the complete series 1 through 6, chapters 1 through 6, which is the length of the series, sells pretty regularly for $20 to $25. So, you know, was that $3 a book easily? So for a quarter a piece for these 3, if I can find the others later, then not that I'd sell it, but it's kind of a nice pickup. So there you go. That's my haul for the day. I'm going to keep bagging some books on my day off. I got a lot more to show. Appreciate everyone for watching, and peace out.